Alright, hello. I'm gonna try out Valkyrie Elysium tonight. This is a game that people were like really down on for a short time, but now apparently it's really good. I've heard really positive things from people about the combat, and honestly, after years of being the one Lightning Returns fan, which everyone called a knockoff Valkyrie game, if this new Valkyrie game is anything like that, then that sounds pretty good to me. Save data can be transferred. Unfortunately, I don't see myself picking up the final game, even if I end up really loving it, because unfortunately, my full price games for the rest of the year have already been taken by Sonic and Crisis Core. These things happen sometimes. Unfortunately, Square Enix decided they were going to release 500 games this year. So, you know. And also, I don't know if anyone else released all that many games. Like, Nintendo doesn't seem to have much of anything stocked up. Does anyone else get bothered by hard mode saying, pick this if you're confident in your abilities? Because you can't actually say if you'll be confident in a game you haven't touched yet. I guess the idea is for a second playthrough, but it's just not very useful information the first time. Same element as the currently summoned Iron Hard Jar. Alright, this is contextless for me at this point. I have no idea what these seals are.
Long before the memory of man, Odin Allfather, chief of the gods, and his brothers combined their strength to slay the primeval giant Ymir, thus forging the world. Under the world tree Yggdrasil, gods and humans
So I have no idea how
dwelled in the
long this
realms
demo
of
is,
Asgard,
but Square Enix
Midgard,
demos tend to
and
just
Niflheim.
go and go and go. I wouldn't be surprised if I wouldn't be able to beat this in one stream.
But their peaceful existence was not to last. The monstrous wolf, Fenrir,
Hell yeah, shout out to
bared
Wolves.
its terrible fangs upon the world, threatening all existence. Odin stood and fought against the ferocious wolf and its forces in Asgard.
4 hours out of the demo.
But soon, their conflict would envelop all the worlds in war and chaos. The battle waged on.
So I probably won't make it to the end then.
Splitting the
Maybe.
sea and sundering the earth.
I tend to be
Innumerable
very
lives were lost
slow and
the
thorough
worlds
with games
faced
just in
utter
general.
destruction.
So,
No resolution to the conflict seemed in sight. Then,
also, hello Juten, how's it
one
going?
day, at the climax
Hello,
of
Trash
their
Man
vicious
Sam.
battle, Fenrir sunk its fangs into Odin's neck, tearing his windpipe, and Odin impaled the beast's skull with his spear, Gungnir. The two could fight no longer, signifying the
pronunciation
end of the
right?
war of
Gungnir?
Asgard. However, the destruction did not cease. The mighty blast of Yalmahorn echoed through the lands, proclaiming the coming end. Versed as he was in the seeress's prophecy, Odin knew all too well that the world was already in the throes of Ragnarok. It was a prophecy that foretold of the end to all things. The twilight of the world before its return to nothingness. In one
Guy who has only
last
played Lightning
attempt
Returns,
to defy this
getting
fate,
big Lightning Returns vibes from
Odin
this.
created a new class of gods.
I gotta say, this transparent, like, I think it's meant to be a stone texture they got over these cutscenes does not look good with the panning shots. So if they're smart, they'll have like a lightning costume you can wear as DLC or something. Oh, right into it.
Can you hear me?
Okay, it is voiced, okay.
I am Odin, the ruler of this world, and your creator. If you can hear my voice, then proceed further.
If I don't proceed forward, will he think I can't hear him? Oh, they got like a... I think I knew this from the trailer, but they got like a kind of a... I don't know what I'd call this art style. The outlines are cool. I really want this tech to evolve really, really hardcore into something that makes like a next level looking Okami game. I'm sure Capcom will do that eventually. But yeah, like I remember like the good old days of those like outlines where you can see the geometry clipping into itself because they didn't have the processing power to actually like post-processing render a line onto something. They had to just put like a shell around the model. Surprised they fixed Valkyrie's actual model too. Like, do you mean like what it was like in the original trailer? Because honestly, Square Enix has had a thing lately where they just keep on showing games just a little bit too early. Like they never do it as bad as what Sonic Frontiers did, but like they've had shown at least like 5 games in very unfinished states. Oh, Soul Chain is like an actual chain. Cool, okay. When I saw, like, Soul Chain makes me think of like a combo attack, like you chain your attacks together. Okay.
It is almost time for you to wake up. But first, there is one more lesson I must give you personally.
Defiled soul.
I'm tired of the not real game meme. Yeah, but like the weird thing is that it's like they'll show a game and then show it again 2 months later, and it'll look drastically better. Quadra slap. Alright, right off the bat, these slashes do feel really good. They got a nice impact to them. I don't know what mechanics specifically people really liked, but I've just heard very positive vibes overall about this. Enemies drop a variety of items that you can use towards acquiring new skills, enhancing weapons for Valkyrie. Oh, your name is Valkyrie. That's kind of raw. Hey, Gilligan on the Frontiers. Loving the name change. Alright, when 16 was revealed 2 years ago, that last trailer showed footage from the real trailer. Way better. Yeah, so it's interesting because when that trailer came out, oh, I'm blanking on his name, but the Final Fantasy XIV director was saying like, oh, yeah, Square Enix has focused too much on fidelity, and we need to make games that look fine, but put a ton more effort into like a smooth production and polished gameplay and stuff like that. And then they just released another trailer like a year later where it looks as good as any other Square Enix game because they've just been like polishing it non-stop for like 2 years apparently.
This should be easier.
Stepping slash. Alright, so Stinger. Slash kick. Ooh. Uh-oh. Ooh, okay. I'm a big fan of how this enemy responds to my actions. Yeah, these are very crunchy moves. I'm liking this.
Defiled soul, you shall be free.
Why? I'm sure I'm doing it right, but it's not. Oh, I have to land the hits. Okay. So Kingdom Hearts 3, it flat out changed engines. The original trailers were just flat out a different game, and they had to rebuild it after about, I think it was 2 years of development. Hey, Anguished One, how's it going? When Sora gonna have a stinger? I assume you mean stinger. I mean, like he has one, a sliding dash, or his basic thrust. Like he does have a basic thrust attack that he's a very low range stinger, but it counts, I'd say. Luminous to Unreal? I believe so. I'm not sure if Kingdom Hearts 3 was explicitly a Luminous game, or if it was just a proprietary engine, or even like just an older engine that they shouldn't have been using. I think 3 was Luminous, but it's hard to keep track, because I know they had another weird engine that they didn't really do anything with. But anyway, we avoided the disaster, basically, because Kingdom Hearts 3 with a Luminous engine would have been a nightmare. You'd air step to your ship in Pirates of the Caribbean world, and there'd be a loading screen. I believe the early Kingdom Hearts 3 trailers were also just flat out pre-rendered, which is funny because there's a really old trailer for 3 that I think people mostly have forgotten to just show some basic combos, and it looks terrible. Like, it looks like a worse version of the basic combos they had for Dream Drop Distance. And if that was pre-rendered, then it's just like, why did you pre-render it to look bad? Yeah, 0.2's visuals are funny because there was a whole discourse back in the day of like, no, everyone's just trying to trick you. It actually looks great. It's just a bad camera angle and all kinds of excuses. And it's like, no, actually it just looked kind of uncanny because it was a very early version of Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm kind of surprised. I thought when they ported 0.2 to like Xbox and stuff like that, I thought they would update the models and the lighting and stuff. Now they have a finished version of the game. Well, a finished version of 3, I mean. Hair still needed some work in Kingdom Hearts 3. I'd agree. Honestly, I don't have a big problem with Kingdom Hearts 3's art style, but if they could just make it look like the PS2, the pre-rendered version of the PS2 models they use for like promotional material, that would just be the best possible art style. It's future-proof. Just have really smooth gradient textures on very high poly PS2 models, and you have a timeless aesthetic. Whereas 3 isn't going to age as bad as Final Fantasy 15 did, but it is going to age. Anyways, Valkyrie's health gauge is displayed below her. Gauge will deplete. Game will end. Items and green souls can recover it. Man, I hope that at some point we move away from the trend of putting like important actions on the clicking of the left and right stick. Like the Lightspeed Dash in Sonic Frontiers is a left stick click, and I don't like that. That does not sound like it'll be as responsive as I'd like it to be. Anyways, for a lock-on, it's not the end of the world, but I really do miss when everyone copied Zelda and just had a trigger do it. I think that feels more natural. How do I do that kick again? There we go. air slash. Wait, why are they giving me my air combos one at a time? I feel like that could have been one tutorial, or maybe two.
A futile.
Prefer to have control over targeting? Well, you can still control it. You can have it be like, hold down L2 to lock on, press left right on the stick to change targets. I just think it feels better to hold the trigger to lock on than to tap the right analog stick.
Valkyrie, you have the power to use the souls of the dead.
Yeah, so I've seen a little bit of this. There's like a party member slash skill system
I
here.
have sensed out thus far.
Press R1. Alright, I should figure out how to say Einherjar at some point, because I assume that I'm butchering that horribly. Hey Marvin, how's it going? I mean, Jutan, I'm not like against it, especially because a lot of control schemes require you putting something on the sticks nowadays. But if anything, this is a broader thing of just I wish that they would come up with more elegant control schemes, because some control schemes this generation have been very dire. Like Final Fantasy 15. Oh, Professor Bad Vibes, thank for following. Thank you for following. Because yeah, Final Fantasy 15 has a nightmare control scheme. And like, meanwhile, like Kingdom Hearts 3, I believe, still doesn't really use the L2 and R2 buttons. Like, some games just have elegant solutions. Alright, so you summon them by pressing R1. Summon up to 2. And they automatically return, okay.
Here ends your miserable existence. Fulfill your
Alright, you just get some right off the bat, okay. It's kind of a novel concept to have your skills literally be people. I've seen the, I've seen Valkyrie profile, like I've seen like gameplay and stuff like that. I know that there's a whole thing about like summoning people for your party. And I remember like vaguely some like, I can't remember what kind of difficulty it was. I'm not sure if it was like those like things where you need a guide or if it's just really punishing or what, but I remember some weird thing people talked about a lot. Maybe my memory will come back to me later on. Final Fantasy 15 isn't a game made for humans. You're right, it's made for Final Fantasy fans and first-timers. Soul gauge beneath health. Summoning Einherjar will deplete the soul gauge. You can get blue soul items. I'm curious what other items there are, because they drew attention to it right away, and I love like weird progression systems and stuff, so I'm hoping there's stuff like that in here. Like, one of my absolute favorite things about Lightning Returns is that you don't level up. Just everything you do gives you bonuses. Like, you do a little side quest, you get some stats. And like, you do a big side quest, you get like a big, like, you'll get like an item slot or something, like a big change, basically. Your like, your special gauge goes up, that kind of stuff. Yellow souls, acquire skills, upgrade weapons, yeah, so. I wonder also what kind of upgrade it is, like, with the weapons. Is it gonna be just linear stats, or like, what? I'm very interested in this game, even before people were saying that the combat was really good. Like, this was one of those things where it's like, just because of people comparing it to Lightning Returns, this seems like it might be for me. Alright, okay, now I'm gonna use a chain on some enemies. Or no, these are just more skills, okay. I'm glad basically every Square Enix game has realized that they can just map stuff to the triggers like Kingdom Hearts. Like Crisis Core has completely changed the materia system, so now it's just hold down the trigger and you can use what you got equipped. I'm not quite sure how it's going to work exactly because what was it? So yeah, in Crisis Core you can equip 6 materia, but there's only 4 buttons you can use, obviously, when you pull down a trigger. So I'm curious where the other ones will go. This game seems to have a lot in common with Final Fantasy XVI's UI, I noticed. It would make sense if they're consolidating things a bit. I think that would be a smart thing for them to do. It does seem like Square Enix really is like putting most of their eggs in the being the premium action RPG creators basket. I just noticed she's Naruto running. I heard her puzzles. Oh, okay, so people can help solve puzzles, I guess. This seems like you have a lot of skills right off the bat.
I'll pick off the ones in the distance too.
Huh, wait. The example showed the bow person, right? Did I miss something by mistake?
Allow me to take a look.
Yeah, someone's voice played, but like...
Do not hesitate.
If you'll allow me.
There we go. Okay, I just wasn't locked on.
You must learn how to fully utilize your abilities so that you may fulfill your mission. A mission of vital...
Oh yeah, no, Crisis Core, like that remaster is insane. They made it, they are literally sucking the poison out. They're just exercising Hajime Tabata's soul out of that game. It is wild, because like, so like one of the most broadly terrible things about Crisis Core is that bosses just have cutscene attacks, which is just the name of the attack will appear on the top of the screen, and then a cutscene plays and you take damage. And now they've made it a mechanic in this remaster where they'll go into a casting phase and a bar will appear with 4 segments. And each time you clear a segment, the attack goes down in power by 25%. And if you get to 0, then the attack gets cancelled. So now it's an actual thing. Whereas in Crisis Core, you could literally just get back-to-back cutscene attacks and die. And then the same thing, you have cutscene attacks too. Like as you have like a slot machine, and when it matches up with characters' faces, you'll do one of their attacks, or like a variant that Zack has based on their attack. And originally those would just interrupt the game. Like Zack would become invincible and the game would pause and the UMD would spin as fast as it could to load up that attack. And then the combat would resume after you've done some free damage. Now, it gets stopped with a triangle button. So you can just wait for when you want to actually use that limit break. This also makes an insane challenge the game has way more sane. Basically, so anyone who's played like a lot of Final Fantasy knows about magic pots. Magic pots are basically a type of enemy where it'll say like, give me an elixir. And then you give it an elixir and it's like, thanks. And you'll get some other thing, like maybe like a good weapon or money or whatever. Like it changes depending on the game. So in Crisis Core, magic pots want you to use a specific ability on them, usually 3 in sequence. And they'll start off with like, use jump, use darkness, use, mug. But the final one, which lets you get one of the pieces of the Genji gear, which is the best gear set in the game. One of them is use Sephiroth's DMW attack, which in the PSP version is random. So like, one, the DMW can trigger at any time and ruin your what you're doing with the magic pot, because it'll just interrupt and give them the wrong thing. Like, oh, you're trying to use jump on them, but then unfortunately for you, Sephiroth attack triggered. But then at the same time, you can be trying to use the Sephiroth attack, and you just either won't get anything, or you'll get one of the like 8 other characters that can trigger, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. But now in the new version there is, so I might actually bother to get that because it's no longer insane. Like it's insane how much effort they're putting into this remaster compared to so many other remasters. Anyways, back to this game. Right, so yeah, when you summon someone, they also give you elemental attacks. Alright, you can switch between elements too. This seems like a really interesting system when you start to get used to it. I'm wondering what other kinds of attacks you can get. I'm assuming you can get more like actual moves from Valkyrie herself. Like there's already there's a lot of systems going on here. It's kind of nuts.
I expected nothing less.
Never mind the promise of skill upgrades and weapon upgrading. Like I don't know, pretty interesting.
A fearsome foe.
Well, they are kind of comparable to Dissidia's attacks, it seems, but they have other features as well. Like they enchant you, they can solve puzzles. I assume you can probably like upgrade them or something. Maybe you can S-link with them, and then they'll be your friend. You guys have elemental weaknesses and an elemental gauge. The elemental gauge is displayed on the left side of the health gauge. Attacking. Elemental crush state. Sounds kind of raw.
Defiled soul, you shall be free.
All right. Oh, so it does. I'm assuming that's specifically they're weak to lightning, and not just a general little icon.
Show no mercy.
Crushed. Hell yeah. Yeah. The main like mildly awkward thing so far is just that she only has the one finisher move. So I have to do a 4-hit combo to get to a finisher. That's a very slow process. So I am excited to get some more moves if possible. But it may be more about like using your friends in all your other skills. Like I can do this too. But there's a lot, so it's a matter of figuring out how it all works in conjunction, I suppose. There's attacks and also Zelda items. Nice.
You need my help? Looks like I'm up.
Okay, so does that mean like when they say unreachable, is that just like does that mean
This is the true work of a knight.
like something that is like a side thing, or is that like progress? Ah, side thing. Thank you for answering my question. Okay, so wait, yellow souls are for weapon enhancement and these gems.
Those things you fought, they are entities known as the undead,
Oh, no fancy name?
formed from the remnant of an impure soul. A truly vile existence.
Can you guys hear the game audio fine? I'm noticing Odin's voice seems a little bit quiet, but I can't hear your guys' audio mixing. I can only hear what I can hear. It's fine? Okay, that's good. I get worried about the audio balancing on a good day, but OBS completely changing everything is like double the anxiety.
You need my help?
Show me why it is your
Let's go!
Oh. Can't call them Scourge like Warcraft. What about Seath? They can use Seath, right? They could call this Lightning Returns 2, Revenge of the Seath. Combo gauge displayed on the right. Increase your gauge. Start depleting as time passes. Combos. Alright, but what is it? What does it do?
Here ends your miserable existence.
Opportunity.
Yeah, like the gauge fills up real quickly. Is that... They should... I wish they would tell me what I'm getting from this.
Swing the battle in our favor.
Oh, it's changed color.
This should be simple enough.
Everything's fitting into place.
Oh, and you're weak to ice. Okay.
Back to the void.
Uh-oh. I'm running out. Come on. Come on. Let me land a hit.
An easy fight.
Uh-oh. He's blocking. Damn it.
Show me why it is your
Looks like I'm up.
training is indeed
Hey, Juniberg. How's it going? As she said the line, yet come my noble Einherjar? I don't know. I'll have to pay attention for that. Okay, you can just soul train. I think they actually mentioned that in the very first tutorial I saw, but now I have context.
An impressive feat indeed.
This is basically just a much less flashy version of the air step from Kingdom Hearts 3.
On my part.
Oh, that went into an air combo somehow. Ooh, he dodged it. Ooh, okay. I love reactive enemies. Oh, you can even target the little blasts. Are those enemies or what? Kind of feel like I should be getting to 100 hits. Also, 75 hits for this early in a game is pretty nuts, but I guess your combo gauge goes down really slowly.
Do not fear, for this is your salvation.
Oh, that's like a Valkyrie profile staple line? Okay. I shouldn't go down just yet.
A curious contraption indeed.
I mean, the nice thing about Kingdom Hearts 3's air step.
A curious contraption indeed.
Man, am I supposed to figure out what to do based on the voice clip? Because I don't know who these voices are.
Go, have your fill.
Schemes and intrigue shall be the order of the day.
Yeah, in Kingdom Hearts 3, the air step slows down time, so that's a big benefit. Ah. Oh, weird. Huh, so you don't have a double jump, but when you fall off a cliff, you can do a little jump. That's nice.
As you can see, the undead often band together.
Whoa, what was that?
Command your souls to remove all obstacles in your way.
It's weird how, like, the PS4 has reached a point where I think so little of its power that I'm just, like, sitting here wondering, how do you make 2 whole NPCs appear
Do not hesitate.
on a whim? Like, how can you load anything with an SSD? I'm just so used to the abysmal loading times of the last, like, 2 years of PS4 games.
This should be simple enough.
I expected nothing less.
An opportunity arises.
I feel like Square Enix has also realized that apparently the core to any good action RPG is a gauge you can fill to do something to give you an advantage. Like, there's so many games they've done at this point that do something to that effect. Like, Final Fantasy XIII's legacy lives on through all games ever.
Awaken, my Imperial.
That should swing back to your favor. No need for pity.
We end this here.
Hey, 100, nice.
Do not fear.
So it's turning yellow.
this
So if
is your
I were to take a
salvation.
wild guess, I'd say it's gonna go orange and then red. But then maybe it'll get extra cool and become like purple or something. Still use the 13 fonts from 16. I mean, yeah, if you get the fonts, you might as well use them, I guess. Some large enemies have a particular weak point. So destroy them, these weak points, and they'll be stunned. Okay. Again,
This should be
very
easy enough.
lightning returns-ish.
Awaken, my Imperial.
I appreciate that the weak point is just brazenly displayed like that.
No need for pity.
We end.
Auto summon. Ooh, that sounds to me like auto combos. Like, if you do this certain thing, then you'll make it so that they follow up your moves or
Go,
something.
have your fill.
Skills and intrigue shall be
I must think of our next move.
So are these save points or what?
You are defying the gods.
They look like checkpoints because they don't seem to do anything else.
This is the true work of a knight.
Okay, so one thing I should probably be doing is this. Don't do this very much. I should probably do it more.
Can't fall behind.
And you have so... Oh, got a little caught up there. You have so many moves here. It's going to take a while to remember to do everything. Like, to actually fight optimally. So I can chain over to them, I can summon... I'm assuming, like, it says you can have 2 at a time, but there's 4 you can slot, it seems. You can also slot 4 skills. Who knows what other stuff you get as time goes on.
Show me, giant.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, they got the Stranger of Paradise grab attacks. I'm not even using my full set of like moves, like my kick I haven't used at all. Although I really would like a way to easily go from a kick into an air combo. So I tried it, but it doesn't like, it doesn't lock you on, like it doesn't zoom you to a nearby enemy. So it's a bit more precise than I would like, but that may even be an upgrade for all I know. I'm still very early in. This may be the end of that. Oh, this looks very Final Fantasy 13 core, actually. Like the final dungeon of Lightning Returns kind of sort of looks exactly like that. Eden's old news. That was Final Fantasy 13-1. Oh man, if they could redo the localization for 13, that would be great. Because I was actually talking to Marvin the other day just about how deeply they screwed up some of the localization stuff. So you say that with VA, that you don't they do that, but they did just, well, they haven't quite released it yet, but they redubbed all of Crisis Core, and not only that, they dubbed every bit of text dialogue in the game. So, like, they're not unwilling to just blow money on voice actors. They got Troy Baker for World of Final Fantasy. The question is, are they aware enough of how bad the localization is in certain areas that they would think to do that? Because honestly, they wouldn't have to, like, scrap everything. There's just certain key scenes where a character, instead of saying, oh no, what's happening to my mind? They instead have to just quickly splice in heart, because it's not about their mind, it's about hearts. But that sounds like Kingdom Hearts, and that's gay. So we might need to just localize that out a bit. Oh, they would probably just get the voice actors back for 13. Crisis Core's new voice actors are just because that's the voice for, like, that's who they got for remake. So that's all it is there. If they were to change the localization for 13, I think they would just get the voice actors back and change certain scenes. That's all they need to do. Not the villain in 13-2, the villain of Lightning Returns. Their motivation is wildly different in the English version. It's kind of insane. Elemental Blight, okay. Enemies have elemental weaknesses, element gauge. Attacking enemies while they are weak will fill their elemental gauge. Once this is full, it will go into elemental crush state. But where's the blight element here? Like, this is just the elemental crush tutorial again.
Show me why
Landing a divine art on a boss when they are in elemental crush will immobilize them for a longer period. When immobilized, they're completely defenseless. However, once boss recovers from the immobilization, temporary, unable to fill their... Okay, whatever.
Allow me to assist.
now to back off, apparently. The little creatures I summon, these lost souls, don't seem to have a health bar or anything of their own. They're just my little minions.
This should be simple enough.
I am in lightning mode, right? I am not. Okay, there we go. There we go.
I shall claim victory.
Honestly, it's functionally very different, but Lightning Returns did have a big focus on exploiting elemental weaknesses. So this may, again, just be a... Oh, okay, so you want to use that right at the end, and then it will give you a whole other gauge. Okay. Man, there's a lot of systems.
This is the true work of a knight.
Ooh, a bunch of gems.
A fearsome foe.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's not even really like a lot of times I wouldn't even say it's the localizer's fault. It is often just a marketing choice. Like, a lot of times it is just, no, but you don't understand. We need to appeal to the Western demographic, and they don't want to be they want to be reminded that they're playing a Japanese game. Clearly, people who buy a game called Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13 wants to feel like they're playing Skyrim. And that's why the Skyrim theme is just literally in Final Fantasy 15. Oh, Return to Valhalla. Okay, that is... If this is what I think it is, this is very Lightning Returns core. Yeah, not to go all Lightning Returns spoilers on here, but the villain basically in Lightning Returns goes from a story about a god not understanding humans and trying to save them from what he views as a flaw to just, I want to control all humans so they will serve me, which is pretty lame. Oh man, I am really excited for Final Fantasy VII Remake to have so many more instances of people going, wait, why do they have this exact plot point from Final Fantasy VII? Why are they putting Kingdom Hearts bullshit into Final Fantasy? Why can't it go back to being a nice, pure, realistic, grounded story in which nothing Japanese ever happens? Yeah, the Japanese motivation in Lightning Returns is really cool and interesting because gods in the Final Fantasy 13 universe are literally just different beings who are literally built different to the point where they are physically incapable of grasping human emotions because human emotions are they're unintentional. They are an experiment going wrong. And that's really cool. Like, it's literally just a goddess felt pity for humans and gave them heart. And that's super neat. And then because of that, humans kind of break out of the established order of things. Final Fantasy 13 is tied with Final Fantasy 10 for most fleshed out world building of a Final Fantasy game you played. I would say 13 and 10 are like probably the only Final Fantasy games with that level of world building. Oh no, wait, no. Sorry. Final Fantasy 12 exists. That I always kind of just lump 12 in with the tactics games and stuff. But yeah, nothing can really beat that level of detail. But in terms of what I would consider a normal Final Fantasy game, so like also excluding the MMOs because I don't know, and they just are kind of different beasts in themselves. Yeah, 10 and 13 are definitely exceptions that have just tons of really cool, well thought out world building. Like, honestly, it gets very, very obvious when, like, spin-offs reference games from before 7. And it's like, don't you remember this iconic location from this game? There's no defining characteristics because it was just a Super Nintendo map. You know, those are kind of unfair, the 5 games there. Yeah, but also, like, 14 especially takes after the Evil East games. So there's also just a really big focus on world building. Because you can have 5 games and not have a very in-depth world if that's not your intention. So is this Odin? I just realized I usually do this, but I never checked my menu. I usually always do this right away. Alright. Proficiency. Oh my god, there's weapon swapping. Oh, this game has a lot. 4 skills. Alright, so it looks like she might have the same kind of progression as Lightning, actually. Skill trees, oh, okay. Oh yeah, flat out. Okay, so there's just stats here, I guess. A ranged attack. Input plus square, launching a dash. Attack boost 2. Oh, that's it. Is that? No, that doesn't seem right. There's literally... Okay, no, like a lot of it's just locked off. Okay. Look at how little it moves down when you go down 1. Alright, and defend, you got quick evade, damage damper. See, this is always the interesting thing that comes from RPG mechanics in a game, an action game, I mean. Because 2% damage reduction looks terrible. But in an action game, that's great. But you don't want to get 2% damage reduction. You want like a big chunky number. You want like 25%. Precision guard, damage dampener, reversal. Alright, yeah, so there's some real moves building up in here. And support. Ooh, double jump right off the bat. Okay, I think I should just get that. Health fortify. Double evade. Finisher level 1. Okay. Neat. Okay, so there's good reason to invest in all of these. In fact, I bet I can get the first level for all of them. In fact, it looks like I can get the second one because it looks like they all take 10 yellow souls. And I have exactly 30. Oh, hey, Sudoku 5, how's it going? Perfect dodge and perfect block are real good. Alright, well, I'll have a quick look at the skill tree